Okay, sir. Shall I proceed, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed participants, and distinguished expert, it is with great pleasure and enthusiasm Ashraf Azmi, Assistant Professor, Faculty of Law, Integral University, on the behalf of Faculty of Law, Integral University, extend a warm welcome to Dr. Vaibhav Saran, who is a distinguished forensic science expert with over 15 years of experience. Dr. Saran is currently serving as a Deputy Controller of Examination and Assistant Professor at Sam Higginbotham University of Agriculture, Technology and Sciences. In terms of his education, Dr. Saran completed his PhD in forensic science from Sam Higginbotham University. Prior to that, he earned his MSc in forensic science at Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Agra. His academic journey commenced with a bachelor's degree in biotechnology from Allahabad Agricultural Institute. Furthermore, uh, he has qualified the UGC National Eligibility Test, that is NET, precisely uh, in forensic science. Underscoring his academic prowess, Dr. Saran's professional journey encompasses his current role as Deputy Controller of Examination at Sam Higginbotham University since September 2021, and his long-standing tenure as an assistant professor in the Department of Forensic Science, a position he has held since January 2028. His skill set is diverse, encompassing expertise in teaching, machine learning, forensic investigation, cyber forensics, and more. In research and contribution, Dr. Suran boasts an extensive record of research publication in national and international journals. He also holds certifications in IT security, ethical hacking, and basic programming of MATLAB. His expertise extends to various specialized areas within forensic science, such as forensics document examination, forensics ballistics, sticks, and cyber forensics, and more. Dr. Vaibhav Saran's rich experience, academic achievements, and dedication to the field make him invaluable resource person for the faculty development program at Integral University, Lucknow. As we know, we are gathered here for the sixth technical session on the topic mitigating victimization through document analysis, and integral part of the faculty development program on emerging trends in the administration of justice, criminal justice, and forensic science. An era marked by dynamic shift in technology, societal changes, and evolving criminal methodology, the study of document analysis is more pertinent than ever. The documents, whether in physical or digital form, are central to the investigation, prosecution, and defense of criminal cases. However, we are also they are also potential instrument of deception and victimization. Understanding how to harness the power of document analysis to protect the innocent and bring the guilty to justice is the essence of our gathering today. Uh, as we dwell into this session, I encourage all of you actively engage and ask the question at the end of the technical session. Thank you and welcome, sir, to this technical session. And let the session begin. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ashraf, for this introduction of mine. Well, some I have already forgot that because in last 15 years I have been working into this field. So thank you for this warm welcome. I
Yeah,
feel
yes, welcome.
that I'll be able to contribute the knowledge and experiences that I have shared during my journey in forensic sciences. So with this, let's proceed with this session. So there's one question: shall it be only uh, in English, or we can be bilingual?
Sir, we prefer English only, but if an issue, then you can mix it bilingually. If you are
Okay,
not
okay,
much comfortable to the English, uh, uh,
okay. No, I'm comfortable with English, so it's okay.
uh,
Okay. So good morning, everyone. As Mr. Ashraf has already introduced me very well, so let's start with document examination session. So the topic that has been assigned for your FDP to me was mitigating victimization through document analysis. Well, there are so many terms, technical terms that is there in the title itself, that mitigating victimization through document analysis. So before we proceed, let's talk about what is document. So since you all are law people, you are law graduates, and what I have been told that some of the faculties are also there. So you guys are knowing law better than me, because I am not a person from a law background. I am an expert of forensic domain. So you all know what is a document. It has been very well explained in IPC section 29 as well as in section 3 of Indian Evidence Act. So in particular, if you extract the gist of the definitions that is there in the IPC or in the Indian Evidence Act, it says document are any matter that is expressed upon any surface by means of letters, figures, marking, or more than one of these means, intended for the purpose of recording that matter, and which can be understandable by a group of people. So when in general, when this term document comes to anyone, they preferably feels that only the paper written documents are document, only our mark sheets are documents, only our Aadhaar card or passport is a document. So that's not the case. Anything which can convey a message can be regarded as a document, right? So document holds a variety of evidences that can come across under its banner. It could be a simple signature related cases, or it could be a stone craving, right? Something is carved on a skin, on a stone. You dig out for architectural purposes or something like, and you get certain scripts or something written on that stone. So that can also serve as a document, because from that archaeological importance can be ascertained by the document expert, right? Then again, nowadays everyone is using these printed documents. We hardly used to write now. We used to type it, and we used to take the print out of it. So yes, all those printed documents are also documents, right? So it holds everything from the writings which has been scripted on the leaves to that modern digital printers. Everything which is conveying a message is a document, and it is very well explained in the law itself. Either you can go through section 29 of IPC or section 3 of Indian Evidence Act. Now the question arises, what was the use of putting this document in the legal system, especially in the forensic sciences? So everyone knows that some particular people used to write something earlier, then they used to type something, then the negotiable instruments came, like your bank checks and all, right? So what people started, like, there is a two parallel world. One, the proper civilians world, and one is the criminal or the dark world. So this dark world runs parallel with us, and these people have a tendency to do frauds, right? They often use the wrong way, they often use the inappropriate or illegal methods to so, for their survival, right? So they have started committing crime, and where there is a crime there is a need of investigation, and where there is an investigation you need the best possible way where your evidence cannot lie, right? So the use of this scientific in evidence analysis helped the honorable court to frame the justice with a better transparency and a better accuracy. Why? Because earlier it was seen in many of the cases the witnesses became hostile, right? Or the witnesses were missing, or there were no witness at all, right? So in such scenarios, it was felt that we need some robust method of getting the evidences proved, or getting the culprit be punished for his act, or if the particular person who is being alleged, if he is innocent, he must be exonerated, right? So these are the conditions which led the foundation of forensic sciences. Forensic science is actually not a science. Forensics means forum for law, right? And science is the every scientific principles that we come across, or anything which is applied for the betterment of human, is called as science. So forensic science means the applying the concepts of science for the purpose of justice in the court of law. That is what forensic science means, right? So taking this forensic science into consideration, now the people were able to identify the evidences that they recover from crime scene and analyze it in the scientific manner, so that it cannot be denied in the court, because science does not lie, right? So like every other field, every other branches has been incorporated into the legal systems. This document, when it was found that there are so many frauds going among the documents, like some people have made my signatures and taken out money from my bank account, right? So these kind of cases were increasing rapidly, because it's very easy to commit economic offenses and get safe than to commit the blue collar crimes. किसी को जाके मार देना, चाकू मार के उससे पैसे छीनना, या किसी के सिग्नेचर फोर्ज करके उसके पैसे निकाल लेना, there is a difference, right? So it was very convenient for the smart criminals who used to exploit their knowledge. They were very good artists, they can copy anything, so they have started copying the signatures of another person, and they have taken started doing the crime or the offenses, like taking out money from someone's account by making fake signatures, or in the offices making fake documentations to steal money or to do embezzlement, or different kinds of things, right? So when it came to notice, it was required to analyze these documents for its authenticity, for its genuinity, for the authorship, for different things. So this laid the foundation of document examination, right? Now comes ki, what is the classification of documents in terms of forensic sciences? So in forensic sciences, the document is basically of three types. Basically, the first one is question document. The second one is genuine document. And the third one is your fabricated document, right? This is the broadly classified three terms. Yes, there is another which is called as anonymous document. Now, what is genuine document? When you can say any particular document is genuine, it's always said na ki jo pakda gaya wo chor hai. So unless the contrary appears, every document is considered as genuine. Suppose I have uh, signed somewhere. If I do not deny that this is not my signature, there will not be any query. Or if that signature is presented in the bank and the bank officials find something not appropriate with my database which is there with them, if it is not matching with it, that is again a case ki a question may rise over the authenticity of that document. So unless the contrary appears, every document is considered as genuine. But when there is a dispute or there is a question that arises over the authenticity of a document, this particular document is said as question document. So whenever there is a doubt, whenever there is a dispute, that particular document is called as question document, right? And it is this question document which is sent to the forensic document expert for verification. Then comes the fabricated one. I'll take that later on. So in question document, what happens actually, suppose there is a fraud related to signatures, right? So the investigating officers, they will investigate, they will seize the question document, then they will collect the samples from the suspects and they will send it to the document expert, asking them a specific question. Like suppose they have taken the samples of 4 or 5 suspects and they have seized the question document and they have sent it to the document expert with a specific questions that whether the signature which was present on the question document sent as exhibit 1, 2, 3 has any significant similarity with the specimen submitted from various suspects and marked as S1, S2, S3, S4 and like that. So what is the primary question that has been asked to us? We have to fix whether the signature which is present on the exhibit has any similarity with the specimens. So we'll do the continuous or the thorough matching process based on different characteristic features of signatures and we'll come to our opinion and we'll give it. So if we say that yes, scientifically there are so many reasons which believes or which make me believe that there is a significant similarities between these two signatures, then it is admitted in the court because a forensic document expert has given its opinion in favor of the signature that it has a significant match with the evidence, so it will be considered as genuine. Or the other thing, the person to whom that particular signature, writing or document belongs to, if he admits in court that this is my signature, this is my document, this is my handwriting, there is no chances of dispute. Suppose a particular person has made his will and that particular person accepts that yes, this is my will, it will be accepted. What if that particular person is dead? Mostly the issues related to wills come after the death of the person who have made that will. So suppose a particular person has made his will and after his death, that will, according to that will, one of the brother said that the entire property has been named for, to me by our father and you need to go from this place. So the other brother will challenge in the court that this particular will seems contradictory and perhaps my brother has made some fraud to it and I need an investigation onto it. Up the person who actually made that will is not available, he is dead. So he cannot come and certify that I have made this will or yes, this was the clauses that I have added for for such and such reason. But that would not be the case. So this particular person is not available. Then either you can go to a forensic document expert providing the admitted samples of that particular person who is now dead or not available. This admissibility of the evidences or admitted documents, that you can go through section 32 of Indian Evidence Act, you will find certain things. And there are certain other sections where is admissibility of evidences are there. So you can go there. So there are two scenarios. Either the person comes itself and certify it, and another that a document experts can certify it. Yes, there is another person who can give evidences on this behalf that this particular writing is genuine. Who are that persons? Those persons who are either directly or indirectly not associated with the case. First thing. The second thing, they may be associated, but they must not be the beneficiary of that particular case. Second thing, they must be in close acquaintance with that particular person who is now dead, and he was in habit of doing the routine analysis of his writing. For example, every day he used to write, that person who is dead, every day he used to give certain instructions, he used to give him certain documents by handwritten, and so many things. So he was in habit of analyzing, or habit, or he has an experience of looking to his handwriting in ordinary course of business, right? Every day I used to see how this particular person writes, so that particular person can also give evidence in the court of law. So if these are the three situations, then it can be considered as genuine. However, if these are not there, then a document cannot be accepted as genuine. If the person who made that document accepts it, it is acceptable in court of law. If any close acquainted person certifies that yes, I have been seeing his writing for such and such years, for so many years, and I know the minute details of his handwriting, and I certify that this is his writing only, so then that will be the case. And third, if the court sends that particular exhibit to forensic document expert, and based on the scientific investigation, that particular expert give his opinion that this is a genuine or this is a forged document, right? So genuine document and question document. The third comes the anonymous document. Anonymous documents are very difficult to analyze in forensic document lab. Why? Because suppose if a signature fraud of my in my bank, there is a fraud happens related to my signature. So who will be the primary person to be contacted? Me. So they know who actually is the owner of that particular signature, right? But in an anonymous document, what happens? There is no clear indications of the authorship. Whose document is it? Who has made this? So these are the cases, like suppose some people used to write on some people's wall, right? That is anonymous document. There are so many people who used to write in the public lavatories, in public toilets, on public places. They write certain obscene content or obscene messages on the various places. So that is an anonymous document. Suppose a particular person has kidnapped a particular person's daughter, and he is sending an anonymous letter to him without. So if he's sending some letter that your daughter or your son is under is with me and I need 10 lakhs or 50 lakh rupees, so he'll send a note without mentioning his name. So you'll not be able to gather the suspects from which you can analyze the document, right? So that is anonymous document. And now comes the most important type of documents, that is fabricated one. What are fabricated documents? Fabricated documents are those documents which are now being made by using of the technology, right? Now technology has two sides. Now it's always said that there is always a two side of a coin, right? So the technology was developed with the intention of doing good for the society, for the mankind, for the legal system or whatsoever. But the criminals have exploited this technology for their wrongdoings, right? So this technology, for example, just take a scanner, right? You can scan my signature, then by using a graphic software, say Adobe Photoshop, you have taken out that signature from a particular place where I have genuinely signed. You have taken it, you have pasted it on another document, and you have taken the printout of it. That is again a forgery. But if you match that signature with me, then that particular signature will be a positive match. Then how would you be able to say that this is not my signature? Reason, you will be victimized. So how to mitigate it? The court and other things have said, specifically mentioned, that these scanned or these documents may not be considered admissible. But yes, there are certain scenarios where you get the signatures in this way. Suppose your passport. Your passport does not holds your original signature. You do the signature, but actually in the passport it comes as a digital print. So if it comes as a digital print, then you can make another look-alike digital print and you can use it as a fake passport, right? So these fabricated documents are another very important areas to look for. I'll let you know the one example. Signatures, you all know. You must be knowing what is a signature. We need not to go into details what is signatures, right? So when we sign, we have the highest level of accuracy in a signature. Means it is a thumb rule that no person can write twice in exactly the same manner, even the same word. So even if I'm signing for 2 or 3 or 4 or 100 times, none of the signatures will be the exact replica of anyone, right? That is the thumb rule. So there is variation. Now, if someone is copying my signature, definitely there will be some variations. So the court will say, how will you evaluate that this variation is your own variation or someone else has done this variation? So that is another very big issues into it, right? So I was telling ki if a particular person keeps himself in a habit of copying my signature and he makes a look-alike signature and he does the fraud, how will I be able to identify, or how will be the document expert be able to identify? Because it has a very close resemblance, right? That is another very critical area where the chances of acquittal are very high, very high. Why? Because it has damaging similarities. This damaging similarities is a specific term that we use in forensic domain when the similarities are so much, even when you have a reason to believe that this is a fake document, but since the similarities are so much that you cannot give a conclusive opinion, that's why it is a negative term associated with it. These similarities, damaging similarities. If we have such a damaging similarities that we cannot give a conclusive opinion that whether there is a positive match or not, right? So keeping this loophole of the investigation or the scientific principles, these criminals have used the technology of robotic hands. Now robotic hands is something that particular robotic hand will be trained on your signatures for thousands of times, and on whatever paper you need a signature, that robotic hand will be held with a pen and it will easily replicate your signature over it. So there is a issue of printing inks that you cannot go for the scanned documents for the analysis. You cannot go for any other printed documents. But now The robots are signing with the pen. It's simple. It's a very simple kind of machine. One motor and one clip. In on that clip, you hold a pen, and that machine has been trained to move in that direction according to your signatures. And with the sufficient amount of pressure, it will execute this exactly the same signatures on a particular document. So this is another very important area of investigation where there are the chances of victimization. So robotic hands, right? Then there are different cases, different areas of document examination. We go through various phases, right? So without going deeper into the core topics, because it's a very, very wide field and there are so many things that cannot be explained within this stipulated short time. So I'll be keeping it very precise that what are the rapidly evolving scenarios in the document examination and what are the basic measures that you can take for preventing yourself being the victims of a document fraud. So as we know, in today's rapidly evolving world, the use of document analysis has become an indisciplinable tool in the fields of law and forensics. There are so many things that we comes across every day, right? So one critical aspect of the analysis or the um, examination part or the analytical approach is its role in identifying and addressing victimization, right? So we need to identify what are the different areas where a particular person or where a particular people at large are being victimized, right? So let's see how document analysis aids in uncovering the instances of victimization, facilitating justice, and doing the proper investigations. So document analysis can serve us in various ways. Document analysis is a crucial forensic tools because we how much we go into technology, but these handwritten documents and these handwritten signatures will never be replaced unless we found that there is a 100% concrete absolute method of replacing it. Till then we cannot replace this handwritten signatures or handwritten documents, right? However, all other things are now being involved into document analysis. So document analysis is a multidisciplinary field encompassing various techniques for examining written, printed, electronic materials. These techniques include handwriting analysis, ink analysis, paper analysis, linguistic analysis. When applied into context of examination or when applied into the context of victimization, document analysis serves several essential purposes. For example, the very first one of it is authentication of documents. What is authentication? Authentication means what we said earlier, ki whether you can say this particular document which is being submitted in the court or which is submitted in the relevant field is the authentic. Suppose you went for registry of a paper or a land, right? You went for a registry of a land and the paper that has been submitted to you or has been given to you to verify the land, can you say it conclusively that this particular land deed or this particular previous land deed which has been shown to me is genuine, is authentic? हम जमीन खरीदते हैं तो हमें सबसे बड़ा प्रॉब्लम ये होता है ना कि जमीन के कागज चेक कर ले, बट क्या वो कागज सही है? So document analysis help us in identification of those or not identification, authentication. How can you authenticate? The thing is that how can you authenticate? So authentication of a document is the primarily task, and if it is handwritten, we'll go for the signature analysis. If it is printed, we go for the printing things. If it is related to some particular stamp papers or thing, we need to identify the security features of a particular stamp papers. If it is related to ink, then we go for the ink analysis. So we have several areas under which we can analyze a particular document to authenticate it, right? So to authenticate it, it is very important that you should be very specific about the minute details that can be analyzed for the authentication of a document. I take a example into consideration, right? One particular person, he was a broker. He met with one person and he told him that this particular land is in such and such place, and if you want to buy, I'll fix your deal in a very good price or something like that, right? So the person who was interested in buying that particular land, he asked for the paper. So he asked for the land papers. So he said, okay, let me ask the owner to courier me his papers, right? He said, okay, I don't have any issue. So that land, suppose that land was there in Noida, right? This particular person is sitting in Lucknow and the deal was being discussed in Lucknow, right? When the paper came, that particular paper was looking absolutely fine, and he read all the clause, he read everything, and he done everything. He said, okay, it's fine. That particular paper was seems to be okay for with that person, and he made a deal. He paid an advance to it, right? Later on, when this particular buyer approached him that okay, let's go and finalize the deal, so this particular person was vanished. वो गायब हो गया. He was not there. Then he started inquiring and then started doing things, and then that particular land deed came into light, and the actual owner of that particular deed was contacted by the investigating officers. जब ये FIR हुई तो पुलिस गए, पुलिस FIR करने के बाद उस ओनर के पास गए कि आपने ऐसी ऐसी जमीन की डील कराई है, आपका कोई ब्रोकर बैठा था वहां पे और आपने इनसे इतने एडवांस लिए हैं, इन सब सारी चीजें, right? He said, no, I don't have any land in my name. I don't have anything in my name. So what actually happened, this particular broker, he has some contacts in the registry department. He took out one registry. He find that, okay, this is the land. These are the descriptions. This is the owner. He made a look-alike document printed by himself, right? Printed by himself. And notary, you go for the court now for the notary or that stampings and all that, right? He done everything fake, and he made the name of a same kind of name person. Like suppose that land belongs to Ravi Kumar, so he identified a Ravi Kumar person in a particular area of Noida. He given his address. So the person who was purchasing it, he verified the name. Yes, it was Ravi Kumar. He verified, yes, the land exists here. Yes, but actually the original registry paper was never submitted to him. It was a look-alike paper. So this kind of cases also comes to us when we need to identify that yes, this particular document is authentic or not. Another example, you must have come across various brokers related to railway reservations. Suppose you have to go to Delhi and you are standing in a Lucknow railway station there, and you just speak in the crowd in the mass that you just put your phone on your ear and keep traveling outside the station that अरे यार reservation नहीं मिला, मेरा ticket नहीं हुआ, I need to go urgently and something or immediately these people will identify you and they'll come to you, you need a ticket, okay, 5,000 rupees लगेंगे या 2,000 रुपए लगेंगे या 3,000 रुपए लगेंगे एक सीट के, ठीक है. You have an urgency, you will go. They will give you some fake tickets and you will go and sit in the seat. Then when the train moves, you have no choice then to travel. The TT will come. He will ask you to show the tickets. The tickets which has been provided to you is a fake ticket. How much time it take to make a look-alike format of a IRCTC online ticketing system? They will make a printout and they will give you, okay, go and sit this seat. There was one specific case that came to Delhi CBI CFSL. I was there for an training. So that time one case came to us where the exactly window tickets look-alike tickets were printed and they were sailed in that particular area, and that ticket came into the limelight and the a big racket was found that yes, this particular type of cases are being done. So people are used of habit of making the fraudulent documents. So you need to authenticate whether this particular document is authentic or not. So that is the one very important area to meet the victimization, that before proceeding with any particular thing, just there is a need to authenticate that yes, this particular document is authentic or not. I'm not going into analysis whether the signatures present over it is significant or not, whether the signature is a match or mismatch. No, just see whether that particular document which it purports to be is genuine or not. Not genuine, is authentic or not. आपको मैंने आधार कार्ड दे दिया, किसी भी जगह पे आपने आधार कार्ड देख के आपने मुझे सिम कार्ड दे दिया. Have you ever entered into the website putting my number, Aadhaar number, to verify whether it is a genuine Aadhaar card or not? Generally don't. People used to go in the hotel, they book a room, as an identity proof they provide the Aadhaar card and they just take a photocopy of it and keep it as a record and the room is allotted. Terrorists are in a habit of making these documents. So the first thing that has to be done to mitigate it, there should be made a specific methodology or there should be some specific legal guidelines that if in any situation you need to verify Aadhaar, just have that thumb scanner, whether in hotel, whether for this anything. If you want to put Aadhaar card as your identity or address proof, then it must be verified first for its authentication by taking the thumb rules or fingerprints, or by entering that Aadhaar number in the database and to verify it whether yes, this is a particular document or not, right? So that is one thing where you say the authentication part is done by a document examination. The second thing that a document analysis can do is the identification of authorship, right? Identification of authorship is another aspect where the document expert plays an important role, right? In this identification, the document expert has to undergo a lengthy process of analyzing the documents based on their characteristic features that is there. For example, you need to identify whether this particular person has written this particular note or not. A very common example can be a case of suicide note, right? A person was found dead in his room, or he was found hanged in his room, and when the people entered his room, they recovered a suicide note, right? Now the person who has actually written it is not available now. So what you can have, his previous writings, so his admitted writings can be there. And what you have to do, you have to identify the fact whether the handwriting which is there on the suicide note has a significant similarities with his handwriting characteristics. So you have taken out his admitted writings. Admitted means those documents which are written prior to the date of dispute and which can be used as an exemplar for comparison, which do not falls in the legal boundaries of um, what you say ki authenticity issues. Ki any document, suppose one of my student, right? One of my student in the university, he commits a suicide, and there is a suicide note recovered from him. So what will be his admitted? The assignment which he has submitted to me earlier, his examination answer sheets will be serve as an admitted, right? Because yes, I was there taking the examination. I know his ID, and this has never had happened that someone else is giving paper for someone else. So anything which is written on this paper where his enrollment number or roll number is there, it was his copy, and this handwriting belongs to him. That will be admitted. So this is the most important area of document examination, where the particular person has to, or the particular expert has to identify that this particular document is written by this person or not. So you need to identify the authorship, right? So for authorship, it is mostly related to handwritten documents. So there are so many features. There are so many features that we take into considerations. If you go by book, there will be so many features like what is the slant of handwriting, what is the alignment, what is the pictorial effect, what is the ratios, what are the connecting strokes, whether connecting strokes are present, the writing is in cursive, the writing is in block formats, or what, how the uh, strokes ended. So there are so many features that we use to read, but all these features are a general characteristic features. You must be knowing what is general characteristics and individual characteristics. I just take 1 minute to explain it. The general characteristics are those characteristics which are common among a group of people, whereas individual characteristics are those characteristics which is highly unique and specific to one individual, right? So we cannot make individual characteristics details. Why? Because how can you generalize it? If you say this is an individual characteristics of whom, I have another individual characteristic, you might have another individual characteristics, right? So keeping this in view, there is one thing which came as the basis of individual characteristics is the formation of letter, right? How you form a particular letter, how you form a particular signature, how your design is made, right? So this formation of letter is one of the most important characteristics that has to be examined specifically if you need to give a conclusive opinion in identification of authorship, right? It is always the matter of perception, right? If there is a glass filled with half water, right? There are two perceptions. One, the glass is half filled. The another is glass is half empty. दोनों ही बात सही है. ग्लास आधा भरा है या ग्लास आधा खुला है, दोनों ही बात सही है अपनी अपनी जगह पे. तो जब आप डॉक्यूमेंट एनालिसिस करेंगे, हैंडराइटिंग एनालिसिस करेंगे, you will get certain features which will be similar. On the contrary, you will also find certain features which are dissimilar, right? Why? Because there is a thumb rule. You cannot write twice in exactly the same manner. If someone else has it, then definitely he cannot exactly copy you, right? So there will be both the things. So if you are going to give the opinion in terms of positivity, like you want to say कि yes, these two signatures matches, ये दो handwriting match कर रही है, these two signatures, these two handwriting are a positive match. If you want to go and give opinion into this context, you need to justify the answers for the dissimilarities that you found. आपने सिमिलैरिटी को बोल दिया तो डिसिमिलैरिटी को आप छोड़ देंगे. दिस कैन नॉट बी द केस. If you want to go for the similarities, you need to justify it based on scientific principles, scientific facts, that why this similarity should not be considered. And if you are going for the dissimilarities, then what about the similarities? You need to justify it. So that is how, when a particular document examiner gives an opinion that yes, this particular signature has a significant match with this particular signature. Why? Because it has these similarities. However, the dissimilarities observed in this signature is probably due to this reason. Age badal gayi, ye badal gaya, wo badal gaya, right? So where there is a error, if you do not identify the similarities, if you are going for dissimilarities, or you do not identify the dissimilarities if you are going for the similarities. So to mitigate yourself from being victimized of the handwriting analysis, you need to assess both, and then you have to evaluate the features which you are considering. What is the weightage of that feature? If you ask about formation of letter, if the formation of letter is dissimilar and you are giving the opinion in similarity, then never your evidence will be accepted in court of law. Why? Because the weightage of formation of letter is highest in contrast to any other feature. That is individual characteristic that holds the highest accuracy. So if your formation of letter is a match and some of the general characteristics are not matching, then you cannot go for the dissimilarities, right? So this is one area where a document examiner should keep his eye to protect himself as a victim. Now sometimes, because you guys are from law background, so you must be knowing that there are certain cases in which the document examination is required, and the opposite lawyers, or the during the cross, the particular person asks several other questions, ki why you haven't taken this question into consideration, what about this similarities, what about dissimilarities. So in terms of law, or in terms of interest of the lawyers, right, it must be noted it very carefully how to prepare a cross examination for any particular document examination opinion, because none of the opinion can give you the conclusive evidence based on certain similarities only. It will have similarities, it will have dissimilarities. So if in a particular case a document opinion came like it is similar, definitely yeah, there will be so much dissimilarities in that particular document. So you can make a very effective cross on the basis of those dissimilarities. Go for the scientific principles and facts which is associated to those dissimilarities, and then that dissimilarities can serve you as a very valid and very important tool to make your cross. And sometimes when the opinion or the person who has made this opinion do not have the answers for that also, so you can make a cross. So in terms in your point of view, I have said that this is very important area where you can identify. Sometimes it happens, this is this is a reason for victimization also. You, although it is the genuine signature, but because of the improper justification that you gave for the similarities or dissimilarities, the particular person has proved it that this is not your writing or this is your writing. So you need to be very precise, you need to be very sure about the scientific investigations that you have done for that particular handwriting signature or any handwritten document analysis. So if you are going for the similarities, identify the dissimilarities also and justify it with the legal, scientific and probabilistic way, right? Now, so this is the identification of authorship. So one is authenticity of document. The second is identification of authorship, right? The third type of examination to mitigate the victimization is the detection of fraud and financial exploitations, right? So financial exploitations or detection of frauds. Suppose a particular person has made my signatures. I have been victimized. My checkbook is in my office. One of my PhD scholar has an access to all my office drawers. He has taken out because being with me, he is very much able to copy my signatures. And now he had made a signature on my check and he had withdrawn some amount of money. When it will come to me, when I'll go and see my bank statement, then I'll find, yes, there is some illegal transaction has been done. Then this case will go to document expert. He will identify, yes, there will be certain frauds that has been done, right? So how can this be prevented? This cannot be prevented unless you do not keep a checkbook. You cannot. You will always be prone to such type of frauds, right? But this is again something where you can make some restriction that I will never keep the checkbook in any of the public places. Okay, you have saved yourself. The signature that I do occasionally will not be the signatures that is in my bank account. That is again very, very, very smart way to make yourself protected from this kind of frauds. Don't just disclose your signature that you do in your bank account to anyone else. If this is the scenario, yes, rest assured that you will be in much safer zone than those people who used to make the similar signatures, right? Then third thing, never sign with anyone else's pen. Never sign with anyone else's pen. Don't trust on anyone else writing instrument. Always make the entry with your pen, do the signatures with your pen. I tell you the case, I tell you the example. You must have been gone through life insurance things. ठीक है, आपने देखी होगी या बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होंगी जहां पर आपने कुछ खरीदा, वो आपके लिए चेक पे सारा नाम और डेटा एंट्री बिल सब कुछ भर के रख देता है जेन्युइन कि हाँ सर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया अमाउंट आपकी पॉलिसी का प्रीमियम इतना है, सब कुछ ही फिल्ड एवरी डिटेल्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू and given that check to you to take your signature. You have taken your pen and you have signed it, right? After few months, you find that 1 lakh rupees has been fraudulently debited from your account. You go and inquired in the bank. They said that you have submitted a check of 1 lakh rupees and that has been cleared. You will ask for the check number. He will give you a check number. When you will go back, you will check the records that you have maintained in the checkbook leaf, that this particular check number has been given to the insurance agent, right? Then you will come to know that some fraud has been done, but now you will again be in dilemma that the check was filled in front of me, the amount was filled in front of me, I have signed by my own self. How this fraud can happen? So what is the fraud in it? Nowadays, specialized pens are available in market. They have disappearing inks. You can create your own disappearing ink. It hardly takes 2 chemicals you can make, and you can make your own disappearing inks for various types, right? So that disappearing ink, what does it did? He filled all the entries with the disappearing ink. He has given that check after filling the entries to you. You have signed it with your own pen, which is not disappearing. After some times, that check disappears, all the content that was written by him, So what he have now? A blank check with your genuine signature. An original check. There is no fraud with the check. The check is original. The sign is original. The bank account, the bank details are original. Why the bank will not give the money on that check? Yes, you will be a victim. So make it a habit. Never used to fill anything, any details by the pen on which you do not trust. Like we don't trust people, don't trust on writing instrument as well. This is very, very, very big reasons of big victimization. And how to mitigate it? A simple step. I will never give my check to anyone else to fill that entry whatsoever. I'll fill it by myself. I'll never sign anything which is signed by someone else or which has some details which I have not seen that it has been written by me in front of me or by the pen which I believe. So this disappearing things are very, very, very challenging for the document expert as well. So to mitigate this, you need to do another optical instruments examination to find the traces of disappearing ink. So this type of cases also prevails in the market. And to mitigate it, simple, just be sure that you will write from your own pen, right? It is preferred using a fountain pen. It is always preferred using a fountain pen, right? That is another story why we can have some specialized lecture on inks that we can discuss, right? So that is another thing where you need to identify the authorship or authenticate a document or detecting fraud and financial exploitation. So any kind of these things, suppose a contract has been made between two people and you have signed a contract. I have signed the contract. He has signed with his disappearing ink pen and that writing disappeared and the contract found null and void. I asked some money from you. I lent some money from you. आपने मुझे पैसे दिए, मैंने अपनी जमीन जायदाद आपके नाम पे गिरवी रख के दे दिया आपको अपने पेन से साइन करके, और उसके बाद जब आपने पैसे मांगे मैंने बोला कौन हो भाई आप, तो वो क्या कहेंगे? कहेंगे अरे आप हमारे पास कॉन्ट्रैक्ट है, आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट निकालो, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में सिग्नेचर ही नहीं है, आपके 1 लाख रुपए चले गए या 2 लाख रुपए चले गए. So these are some of the cases which is being very much prevalent in the court. So in any of the such cases where there is a vanished signature, where there is a claim by the client that this particular person has asked me to sign and now my signs are disappeared, he might have changed the document, he might change it. No, just analyze it scientifically. There may be a case of disappearing ink or erasable ink. So if you go for the thorough analysis, you might also come and to identify the various traces of disappearing inks. So this is how you can mitigate your financial frauds. Another kind of frauds are very much prevalent, which is somehow related to forensic auditing, another specialized branch. I am engaged with so many private agencies for examining the document analysis. So there was one person came to me with a case that some amount has been debited from his bank account by the use of his debit card for a longer period of time, a small amount, sometimes 1,000, sometimes 500, sometimes 300, sometimes 3,000. This kind of small debits are being continuously being done from my bank account. And I have debit card, but I never use it unless it is very urgent. So he told me to please investigate it. I said, okay. So the basic procedure of taking a case is there must be an FIR. So I asked him, does your son or daughter or your small brother lives with you? So he said, yes, my son. हमने कहा, have you asked your son? He said, yes. He was my prime suspect. I asked him, but he denied. So, and I am very sure that he has not done this. I said, okay. So one of my colleague told that person, okay, you need to file an FIR, then come with a copy of FIR. We'll investigate your case. I said, okay. So he said, okay. So I denied. I asked him, okay, sir, let's not FIR. Let me see your case first. Let me evaluate it, and then we'll talk to you tomorrow. He said, okay. So my colleague asked me, how can you forego this basic thumb rule that without FIR we cannot proceed with the investigation and all. So I told him, to my colleague, that I'm 100% sure that this money has been utilized by his son only. And if he'll do FIR and we'll give a report, then ultimately his son has to go to jail. Right? So why to play with his career? He might have done something wrong. So it will be their personal matter. He will handle it. How can you be very sure? I said, I'm very sure. So I said, okay. So next day he came, I asked him some details. So I asked him to give me the transaction details of everything that has been seemed as suspicious to him. So he has given me a long bank account for around 3 or 4 months. I marked the transactions. I had taken that transaction details. I did a backtrack and I found one particular entry related to a particular online website, say Amazon, right? So I inquired with Amazon tracking ID. I found that this particular thing was ordered, and where it was delivered? It was delivered to his own home. So a entry of something which the person says that this amount has never been utilized by me, the same amount was utilized for delivering certain thing to his own home. Now and then there was a number, there was a thing, and so many things. So it was the evidence that I have taken out from those documents, and these financial exploitations were identified. So it was a minute exploitation that has been done by his own son. But this is what people are doing. They are utilizing it. So to prevent yourself being a victimization, keep an eye on transaction IDs. Keep an eye on transaction IDs. So whenever this type of cases comes, yes, these are certain evidences that you can take. What are the delivery address? What was the phone number that is used to book this particular document? There was certain other informations also, like 365 rupees was frequently used to recharge a mobile. Then I used to take that transaction ID. I found which number was recharged. This was of a girl, right? And that girl was his girlfriend. So when that girl's name were identified from the network companies, so that father recognized her and he said this particular girl is his girlfriend. So now he was convinced that yes, his son has done all these kind of things. So that was another case, right? So all these financial cases, whether it is related to printed documents, it is related to online shoppings or all, yes, this is also a document, and you can protect it as your financial losses should not incur. So these are certain things where you should be very specific. Never put your signatures online. Never put your things common to everyone. Don't make a common signatures which we use in routine work and you use in bank. Never give anyone the access of your things. So these are some of the basic preventive measures that you can take to mitigate. However, if it comes to investigation, these are the certain things. Identify these small facts that could be present in the documents, right? So that these are some, and this is a specialized branch of document examination, say forensic auditing, where we used to identify these kind of frauds. It's not a routine document analysis part that we used to do, right? Then there is another approach of document examination is linguistic analysis. Linguistic analysis is something where we say that this particular person has abused me, this particular person has intentionally being doing something to harass me or something or not, right? Sometimes from the language, it is very important that you should analyze what that particular person is about to say. That is linguistic analysis, right? So linguistic analysis are basically used in hate speech cases. Hate speech आप सबको जानते हैं? You must be aware about the political things that is going around us, and there are so many things where There are so many incidents where a particular charges has been framed against one or another politicians on the hate speech thing. You must be very, very, very um clear about it, ki what type of hate speeches you have noticed in recent past or in the previous years by the politicians, and they have been framed and they have been punished according to the sections. You are a better person to know about the sections and punishments. So how do we analyze in forensic document examination as linguistic? So we used to identify the words that he want to express through the words that he has already spoken. This is how hate speech is connected. Like our honorable prime minister used to uh, represent the opposition leader, Shri Rahul Gandhi ji. So he always used to say earlier his tenure when he was not elected, in all his duty, he used to denote him as Shehzade, right? He never used his name, but his linguistic means mean that, right? So sometimes by not saying the name, but you are expressing it in such a way that it is relating to something else. This is what linguistic analysis is. So this is another recent investigating area of document examination where we used to identify this linguistic analysis. There was one very important case, although this belongs to a cyber forensic division or forensic physics division, but yes, somehow it is related to document as well. There was one case happened, I don't know in which part of India it happened, where there was a protest going on certain thing, and there is a Muslim community who used to give certain gestures, and they were saying Islam Zindabad, and it was somehow portrayed that they were saying Pakistan Zindabad, right? So the voice recording of that mob were analyzed in Chandigarh Forensic Science Laboratory, and it was identified that they were not saying Pakistan Zindabad, they were saying Islam Zindabad. And Islam Zindabad can be said in India, and it has no offense to the legal constitution. So these are some of the incidences where you need to specifically identify the linguistics. There are so many morphings, there are so many things that comes across in various cases, and you need to identify whether this particular person has said of what he is being alleged for. So don't be a victimization of a case where you just take a recording of a clip and you just file a suit, or you just file a case and you are saying, I'll see. Or if your client is innocent, suppose you are a lawyer of a particular person who is being framed against it, how will you defend that? So go for the linguistic analysis. They will break every single speech into words, and they will recreate the alphabet, or they will recreate the word what it was actually spoken. Whether it was Pakistan or Islam, the lip sounding remains same. But how you will change or analyze? By the means of forensic investigation. So to mitigate yourself being a victimization of any such hate speech cases, you can go for the forensic linguistic analysis either by the document expert or cyber experts, right? This is another area where you can mitigate your victimization by forensic analysis, right? So these are some of the incidences. There are also certain cases of printed documents. Suppose a typewriter is into existence. In the court, mostly we use typewriters. So whether it has been typed by the same typewriter or not. Suppose I have bought an affidavit from a typewriter from a court. They have given me the affidavit. Later on, I have entered 2 or 3 lines behind that. So these 2 or 3 lines will have different characteristic features as of the previous characteristic features present on that particular typewritten documents. So you can go and analyze those typewritten documents as well, right? So to mitigate your victimization of being additions or alterations, you need to be very specific in identification of the characteristic features that is present in the rest of the document and in the suspected area. If suppose the design of A is different in the entire typewritten document, however the suspected area has a different form of A. अब एक टाइपराइटर में दो तरीके का A तो हो नहीं सकता, पता चला पूरी रामायण जो लिखी है उसमें वो एक तरीके से ए लिखा है और जहां पे आपको शक है उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया में ए क्या डिजाइन बदल गया है, तो ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता. इन कंप्यूटर इट कैन बी डन. You can change the font accidentally, the font has been changed, cut copy paste होने में font change हो जाता है. Yes, it can happen with the computer and you have taken a print out, but in typewriter it cannot happen. Likewise typewriter printers computers की भी analysis होती है. We used to analyze the computer printout also, right? Likewise we used to analyze printed document also. What printed? जो रसीद बुक होती हैं, hotels की bill books होती हैं, ये सारी ना, all those, these are also analyzed. There was again an interesting case. A particular person was in a habit of doing travels for his company. He was being paid for his travel, for his hotels, for his fooding and all. So what he did, he went on a tour for 7-8 days. He stayed with his relatives or he stayed there for 1 or 2 days. He collected the bills and then a look-alike bill has been printed in his hometown. वो अपने घर गया, घर के पास प्रिंटर के पास गया, उससे बोला भैया ये इस तरीके का बिल बना दो 10-12 टो. उसने बिल बना दिए. बिल बनाकर he has taken it out and he has made a fake bills. So when it came into analysis, it was found that the bills of Agra, the bills of Delhi, the bills of Jaipur, the bills of Lucknow, the bills of Allahabad, they all have the same printing ink. How it can be possible? You stayed in a hotel, you are claiming that this hotel was in Delhi, and the printing of the bill book of that hotel is matching with the printing ink of an Allahabad printing press, which is your friend, right? So this kind of printed document analysis is also very much prevalent in the document analysis world, that we use to identify the printing inks as well, right? So to mitigate yourself being a victim of these kind of things, you will see that the bill book is very okay. It is appropriately, it is a very nice book, but the thing is that it has been printed by someone else. It is not the actual copy. So it needs the authentication, whether this particular document is authentic or not. And how can you prove? By doing the ink analysis. If the printing ink was not same as it is there in the other receipts or the bill books that is present with the hotel or with the organization. So that is another thing, right? Then you need to use your document analysis to safeguard victims' right. Victims' right by ensuring them that they are not falsely accused or implicated through manipulated documents. This should be your objective. कि कभी कभी इनोसेंट पर्सन जो फंस जाते हैं उनको बचाने का भी काम आप डॉक्यूमेंट एनालिसिस के थ्रू कर सकते हैं. यू कैन डू योर एनालिसिस और यू कैन do various kind of document analysis, or you can take the help of or assistance of document expert in safeguarding your clients if they are innocent. Why? Because mostly they are being accused of something in which falsely related documents are being presented. So it is one area where you can help your clients to protect them from being victimized of what actually being committed to them. Right. So it is very important that you should be, because you will be practicing in court, there will be so many times when you'll come across people who have been falsely accused of anything and you need to protect them. So in that particular incidents, you need to protect themselves by ensuring that whatever documents are presented against them, whether they are authentic or not, they are they are legally sound or not, they are admissible or not. So in these areas you can help take the help of document expert in mitigating the victimization of those innocent peoples because of the fraudulent documents, right? So I think there are so many things and it is not very easy to cover all the topics specifically in this short time. Uh, so I was I was speaking about some of the crucial areas on the document examination. I hope I have made myself a little aware about the document things, or the principles and areas where you can use the document analysis. However, if there will be a chance given to me to interact you in person, I'll be very happy to explain the concepts of various parts of handwriting or document analysis in a small topic. With this, I would like to thank you all and wish you all the best for your successful career. Over to you, Mr. Ashraf.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. It was very knowledgeable session, sir. We You have discussed on various aspects to the mitigating the victimization. Sir, we have couple of questions. If you would permit us, so we can ask before you a
Sure.
question. Uh,
Sure.
Sir, in the line, first question, what is document analysis in the context of mitigating victimization in India? Is very related to your topic, sir.
What is document analysis in mitigating the
In the context of mitigating victimization in India in perspective,
victimization in India?
uh, mitigating
Okay.
victimization in India.
Okay. Look, victimization is one thing that you cannot define it precisely. There could be victimization in anything. The use of document analysis depends upon what particular case it is. Suppose you are being a victim of a fraudulent document. Someone has taken my signatures by trickery, right? The particular person has asked me to sign on a multiple documents, and while signing it, I have not read one of the pages, that it was a blank page, and after that signature, it some another thing has been written over it, right? So I will be a victim because the court and the forensic people will say this is your signature. I
Hmm.
cannot deny it, that is my signature. But you will be a victim because you were not or you was not signing that document knowing what you are signing it. ठीक है, तो आपके सिग्नेचर्स वहां पर हैं, वो बात डिनाई नहीं हो सकती, क्योंकि साइंस आपके सिग्नेचर्स को रेक्टिफाई करेगा. बट यू विल बी अ विक्टिम बिकॉज द सिग्नेचर हैज बीन ऑब्टेन्ड फ्रॉड्यूलेंटली. आपने साइन किसी और चीज के लिए किया था, किसी ने किसी और चीज उसको लिख दिया. So these kind of victimization are there. So depending upon case to case, the document analysis has a different role. It is not specific for a specific thing. It varies among case to cases. So we cannot be specified precisely that this is how, or this is the scenario of mitigating victimization through document analysis. It depends upon what type of document has been presented, what type of forgery has been committed, what type of analysis is required. So based on that, you can identify the possibilities how you can mitigate that victimization through document analysis. I'm sorry, sir, your voice is not clear. I'm not audible, sir.
Sorry. It was muted. Oh, sorry, sir. Uh, Sorry. I'm reading the again, sir. The question. Please mind it. Whether India have enough adequate infrastructure to deal with the document analysis in relation to forensic science and cyber crimes.
Okay. So yes, India is well equipped with mitigating these kind of frauds related to document and cyber analysis. We have a very specialized laboratories. Some of them are highly specialized, like we have a CBI CFSL in Delhi, we have CFSL Hyderabad, we have CFSL Chandigarh, we have CFSL Kolkata, the Central Forensic Science Laboratory. They are highly skilled and highly renowned in this field. So we are full of infrastructure in related to document analysis. We have so many eminent experts in our country who have been renowned not only in India but across the globe. For example, Deepak Handa was there, Dr. Meenakshi Mahajan is there. There are
Okay.
so many people who are so much renowned in this field. So we are highly equipped with the kind of frauds or the trends of fraud that is being there in the document analysis. Regarding cyber, so cyber analysis, yes, we have one organization that is our Ministry of Information Technology, or
Okay.
right. So we have CERT-IN. CERT-IN is Computer Emergency Response Team India. This Computer Emergency Response Team of India is highly equipped, highly sensitive, and they are doing a fantastic job in this field. I want to add one case of it. You all be knowing the Muzaffarnagar Dange that happened, right?
Yes.
In that time, the Facebook servers were lower down. The accounts of so many people were blocked by the Computer Emergency Response Team because to avoid the spread of hate speech. क्योंकि वो वहां की फोटो वहां की चीजें इस तरीके से फैल जाती तो पूरे देश में हिंदू मुस्लिम राइट हो सकते थे. So this computer emergency response team has the power to stop, delete the content of any Facebook account, stop any Facebook account. उस एरिया में Facebook ना चले. They have all those rights. So yes, we have a well-equipped team, but yes, there are certain incidences because of which sometimes we fail to analyze the data. It is some incident, but that is not the fault of country or the availability of software. That is the technological flaws. कुछ टेक्नोलॉजिकल फ्लॉ है जिसको हम यूज नहीं क्राइम कर सकते. अब जैसे आपका साइबर क्राइम का मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल बताता हूं. सपोज यू हैव गिवन योर एटीएम कार्ड टू योर फ्रेंड हु वाज गोइंग टू एटीएम, राइट. आप एटीएम का कार्ड अपने अपने फ्रेंड को दिया, उनसे बोला, यू टोल्ड हिम दैट टेक आउट सम मनी फ्रॉम माय एटीएम कार्ड. You gave him the pin. अब the person who was in the ATM was you? No. So the machine does not identify the person. The machine identifies the pin number and the magnetic strip. Right? So if you have given yourself the OTP to someone in a digital crime, how it is related to a cyber crime? So these are technological glitch. Right? So India is very much aware about dealing with the technological crimes, but because of the unawareness among the people at large, it it is responsible for the crimes that occurs. So apart from that, yes, we are highly equipped in terms of various labs that we have and the agencies, government agencies that we have to mitigate all those crimes related to document examination as well as cyber forensic examinations. Any other questions, Mr. Ashraf? I think there is some glitch. So Mr. Ashraf, are you there? Okay. However, I would like to say that whenever you want, because this is a field where you will be coming across. So whenever you want, you can reach to me on the websites or my phone number. I am available on
Sir,
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. So you can. Yes,
no,
sir.
sir,
Any other?
you. No, no, sir. I am done with this all question. I have only two
Okay.
questions with that. Sir, it was very, very informative session, sir. I am very uh, uh, happy to listen this all this concern like you on the topic that is a mitigating the victimizations concern to the forensics criminal justice and all that. So, sir, thank you so much for this session. On the behalf of FDP team and the Faculty of Law, Integral University, I convey my deep regards to your today's lecture. It was very informative and knowledgeable session, sir. Thank you so much once again, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to Wish all my best wishes to all the participants
Sir,
and the upcoming
certainly.
lawyers. Whenever
Yes.
I'll be given chance to meet you in person and discuss all other things about the document in details, I'll be very happy.
Definitely,
Thank
sir.
you.
Definitely, sir. Thank you, sir.
Oh,
Sir.
oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Right.